So you're thinking about buying a home in Iowa and you live out of state. Today I'm going to talk about the big things you need to understand when it comes to uprooting your life and moving to another state. Things like income, finding the right location, and how to handle the home search when you're not here with your boots on the ground. Hi, Emily Farber here, your favorite Iowa YouTubing realtor. I make videos all about real estate and Iowa to help people just like you make smart decisions. If that sounds like your sort of thing, be sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. First off, you need to find a real estate agent and a lender that are licensed in the state you're moving to. Sometimes you can find a lender that's licensed to do mortgages in multiple states. And occasionally you can find a real estate agent who is also licensed in multiple states. But in that situation, it's often that person lives near the border of the state and they carry a real estate license for those two bordering states like Iowa and Illinois. Now, I would advise you to use a bit of caution with a real estate agent who claims they can help you anywhere in the state you're moving to. The reason I say this is because real estate is really best practiced on a hyper-local basis. So while you might have a cousin who's an agent who lives 2 hours away from the town you're moving to, chances are they're not going to be highly knowledgeable about a market in which they just don't live and work on the regular. When I have people contact me about their plans to move to Iowa, the first thing I ask them is where in Iowa they plan to move to. My area of expertise is the greater Iowa City Metro, and I work in about an hour radius of that. Anything beyond that, and I feel like I would be doing my clients a disservice trying to represent them because those other areas just aren't my sandbox. Now, just because you may be moving to somewhere else in Iowa outside of the zone that I work in, it doesn't mean that I can't give you a leg up. I know a ton of real estate agents all over Iowa, and I may be able to refer you to a great agent in the area you're moving to. Just ask me. Now, I'm betting that you may be feeling a little stressed out and wondering, how do people do this? How do people move to a new state when they're not there? I got you, babe. First off, you can do it 100% virtually if you have to. Yes, you don't even have to visit the state. I know it sounds scary, but people do it. You're going to work with your agent through video, FaceTime, Zoom, text, and email. If you're doing it this way, it is very important that you get as much information as possible. Home inspections, floor plans, video, neighborhood tours, so that you can literally know everything that you can possibly know about your future home. If I'm working with a client virtually, I make a point of noting all kinds of things. Stuff like what the neighbor's yard looks like, what the overall traffic noise is in the neighborhood, what the home smells like. All right, here we are outside of 1810 California Avenue. I'm gonna take a little swing around the neighborhood so you can see. Pretty quiet little street, single family homes. One thing I am noticing is that the driveway has dropped here from the foundation, so this is going to be a fairly sizable bump when you're driving in and out of the garage. You might want to stack up some pavers right there so it's not so far of a drop. Stepping into the house, it's got luxury vinyl plank flooring. Nice bay window. There's a little bit of an odor in here, kind of like paint and maybe very, very slightly, somebody probably smoked in here at some point. It's not super strong. You may also be able to close virtually or make arrangements for your agent to sign the closing documents on your behalf with a limited power of attorney. So you might not even have to be in the state or see the house ever before you actually move there. If you think that you might need to close virtually, be sure to talk to your lender early on so you can find out what your options are. Number 2, this option is what a lot of people end up doing. They travel to the state for a long weekend or two, and then they work with their agent for an intensive, packed in home showing tour. If you're going to do it this way, make sure that you are planning ahead. Have a real estate agent lined up where you have done enough communicating with that person in advance that you feel like it's a good fit. The last thing you want to do is show up for this big important weekend and discover that your agent is a total flake. You also need to check with your agent and make sure that they are available. I once had a client call me up and say, hey, we've booked our tickets. We're going to be in on such and such a weekend. And I looked at my calendar and I said, great. I, however, am not going to be in town for that weekend. You don't need a monkey wrench thrown at you after you've already purchased those plane tickets. When I have clients come in for a long home tour weekend, I usually try to schedule all of the homes that we want to see on the first day or two of their visit. And then I leave the last day or two open for us to circle back around to their top choices. You might end up writing an offer while you're here, but if the right home is not on the market at that time, hopefully by the end of your long weekend, your agent has a really good handle on the type of home that is going to float your boat, and you have a really good handle on the specific neighborhoods that you are most focused on. Moving forward, your agent can do video showings for homes that come on the market in your target areas, and you can try to find a fit. If that doesn't happen, plan another trip in a month or two when more inventory is available. Now, don't worry, you do not have to be in town to write an offer. Your agent should be able to write an offer for you, review it with you over the phone or on a video call, and then you can sign everything electronically. You do not have to sign in person. Everything can happen over an electronic signature program. Option 3 is move, rent, and then buy. I know a lot of times people want to move to a new area and just be settled and not have to go through the moving process multiple times, because we all know moving is a major pain, but sometimes short-term pain means long-term gain. If you really want to understand a place, scope out neighborhoods, learn about schools, and make sure that you're choosing a home that you're going to love for the long term, you might need to rent first. Perhaps that means a year-long lease, but maybe it means putting your stuff into storage and just renting a furnished place for like 1 to 3 months. There are furnished options beyond just Airbnbs. You should talk to your agent about short-term rentals that are from 1 to 3 months, like traveling nurse type places. You don't have to be a nurse to rent one, and they are a great option if you don't want to be locked into a year-long lease. Now let's talk for a minute about how you're going to pay for this new house, your employment. Chances are, if you're moving to a new state, you may have a new job or you're a remote worker. If you are a remote worker, your employer's HR is going to have to verify that you can live anywhere and remain employed with no impact to your pay or hours. There's a lot of places that transitioned to remote work during the pandemic that are now asking their employees to return to the office, or they're requiring you to be in the office a certain number of days a month. If you're starting a new job and you have the signed offer in hand, you may be able to close on your house before you've actually started working, but it's going to be a bit of a balancing act. Your lender will require that all contingencies to your job offer be met. For instance, if you have to pass a physical or do drug screening. And you will need to start the job before your first mortgage payment is due. Usually when you close on a home, there is a month or two of a grace period before that first payment is due. So you're going to need to work with your lender and your agent to figure out what the sweet spot is between when you can close on the property, when your first mortgage payment is due, and when your new job actually starts. Now, some lenders may require that you have at least one pay stub in hand before closing. So make sure that you know the specifics of what your lender requires before making any offers on a home. Are you thinking about moving to Iowa from out of state? If so, I want to know why. Down in the comments, leave me a comment down there. I encounter a lot of people who are thinking about moving to Iowa for affordability-based reasons or lifestyle-based reasons. Let me know yours. Hey, I hope this video has been helpful. I just really want to stress that it is important for you to plan ahead and be working with competent professionals to make your move as smooth as possible. Hey, it's been fun, and I'll catch you later.